Good morning, Tuesday the 3rd of September, and well, today it's a big day. Lawn care season starts, or the autumn lawn care season starts, and I've spent this year trying to get into the commercial game, and I got one decent job out of it, to be honest. They haven't decided to go with me full-time, and there's a few reasons for that, which I can explain at another time. But last year I did an interview and this happened.
So obviously you must have had a fair amount of connections within the football from being a coach. So when you left being a greenkeeper and you decided to set a business up, why did you not go into football maintenance?
And to be honest with you, I never really thought about it. I just went from golf into sort of garden lawn care. That just seemed the logical step. However, I've thought about it, and I've thought about, you know, sort of trying to get more commercial work and things like that, really to get work which I could put other people on, and it's less about me, and it also just sort of reduces all the little jobs here, there and everywhere. So I've got quite a bit of work going on at a particular sports club that you'll remember I put a lot of quotes in for. I got about half of those back. And today was going to be a day where I'd be out with that new sprayer that you saw me buy, and well, yeah, this was going to be the first day of it. However, we've woken up to this. Yeah, so we've woken up to torrential rain. So I think that's the weed killing, which is the job I was going to be doing, knocked on the head. However, we have got some goal mouths which need repair work done to them. It should have been done in April, should have been done in maybe even May. However, they haven't. So yeah, now is a better time than any. So I'm currently just on my way now to go and get some soil, just to help sort of level up and fill those goal mouth areas, get some seed down. I believe the rain is going to stop soon enough, actually. But yeah, so I won't be taking. Normally I'll take the trailer, put the soil in the back, but I don't want the soil getting wet. So I've got an empty van, so I'm going to put the soil in the van. The reason it's empty is because while we were away, the van went for its MOT and service. It passed. It needed some new brakes, which is what I knew that already. So yeah, other than that, all good for another year. Anyways, I'm gonna go and get some soil, and I'll catch up with you in a bit. Okay, so we're here. We are. You may remember these pitches. So all we're doing is the goal mouth preparation at this. You can see these goal mouths here. Not ideal for the start of the season. The whole pitch isn't really ideal either. So all we're going to be doing today is Scott's just going around, just actually with the Ego mower, just cutting down the short areas. Sorry, these areas nice and short as you can go with the Ego, and we are literally just doing the goal mouths. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pitches here, and then we've got a load more over there. So what we're going to start off with doing is just literally taking the aerator over those areas, just to try and relieve some compaction, also create a bit of a seed bed, and then we're going to seed, top dress, etc, etc. So yeah, I'll let you know with the progress, but Scott's going around in this kind of order, and then I'm just following him with this, and then once he's done, he can take over on this. Okay, first round's far too hard to take a hollow core, so we're just going to put the 15mm tines in, and just break it, just try and break the soil up a little bit. I think that's going to be the only way of doing it. It has rained all morning, but it's I guess it's just there's been no water on it all summer, so it's come to nothing. Rain has held off this morning, and you can see basically what we're doing is the goal mouths, penalty spots and centre spot. That just seems to be the worst areas. Obviously the goalkeeper loves to hug their goal lines. Good afternoon. So it's Wednesday today, and yesterday we got all the goal mouths and all the on the second half of the pitch. I don't know if I showed any of that. It just sort of it was a long old day. It seems as though they've moved the pitches around, so the actual worn out goal mouth areas weren't necessarily in the goal mouths. They would be somewhere in the penalty box, or it was all a little bit bizarre. But it was quite interesting actually, because while I was doing the work, a guy came over to me who's something to do with the football club, and he mentioned they actually had another site as well, which had a few issues. So potentially there's another site that they'll want me to look at. And then someone from a local cricket club, but I know that it's a pretty good standard cricket club, they came over and they were looking basically for a third team pitch, I think. And they were wondering that the top level has a single AstroTurf cricket strip. So in theory you could put some, they would want to play on grass, but they could play grass next to it perhaps if someone maintained it. So maybe there's an option there as well to do something. So yeah, so I didn't get any spraying done. I had intended to do some today, but unfortunately the Time Master says no. So not really sure what's wrong with it. I actually filled up with fuel on the way over here, and filled the mowers up as well, and I'm hoping it's basically just not running, and then it's sort of like stopping. It's like you know, and then cutting out. I've run it without the air filter, and it's still doing it. So it's not the air filter. There's plenty of fuel through the fuel filter, so there's plenty of fuel in the bowl. So I don't think it's that. I'm wondering whether it's the fuel jet, might be a little bit blocked. But the issue I had was I had a mower. The mower was full with fuel, and I just had nowhere to put it other than to just dump it all on the wet lawns drive, and that's quite a bit of money actually, just dumping. So what I have done is I've just waited until I've actually got the backpack blower with me, that you can't hear it in the background, that's the neighbours. So I had a little bit of two-stroke mixed up in my two-stroke pot, so I used enough of the blower to be able to get the dregs out of that into the blower. So now I've got an empty container that I can pour all the fuel in, which is what I'm doing now as I'm speaking. I think it's all in there now. So what I can now do is take the bowl off, and I have let's have a look. I did buy that compressor for the tyres that you saw me use the other day, and I know that it's got some attachments. Yeah, so it's got a needle attachment for blowing up footballs and things like that, so it might be that that might be enough to just get some air up there to blow the jet out. If that works, that's perfect. If it doesn't, I'm at this property, you know it, where no one lives, but they keep saying they're coming over, and they've been saying that for months. We held off on the pressure washing until June or whenever it was, if you remember, so that everything was looking as good as it could be. We cut all the hedges, and his lordship's still not turned up yet. So it is what it is, but it does mean I have to keep coming in and cutting and doing everything. I'd actually planned to miss today and get on with the spraying. However, knowing that he could be in at any time, I've kind of got to do it. Well, this one should be a really easy lawn, that basically I just get it done nice, do what I want throughout the year, and then the week before he turns up, get it done nice. It's becoming a bit of a pain. So yeah, anyways, we'll review that one later, but for the moment we're just getting the Time Master fixed. I was at Wet Lawn this morning, and I didn't film anything because it was just ridiculous. It's been fed a month ago now. It's fortnightly, and it was just so long, and Time Master was out of action, so I had to cut everything with the 56 Pro, which has got its own issues as well actually. And the other one's still out of action, so it's just you're not fighting weather. If you're not fighting clients, then you're fighting machinery. But anyway, there are days I enjoy it, honest. Okay, so it continues to do that with the air filter off, so it's not the air filter. The fuel filter's not blocked, the fuel's getting through there, it's clean fuel. I've blown up the fuel jet as best I can with what I've got. So yeah, any thoughts? So interestingly, this is the spark plug out of the hater. Can't get it in bloody focus, but it was clean when it went in. I've started it, it rumbled about and then stalled, and it's come out looking really sooty. Okay, so it's Thursday. I should be on my way to the job, but I'm not, so I had to drop offs today. So normally what I try and do is drop offs and then get to work as quickly as I can, and then I've basically got enough time to get those 3 jobs done before I've got to do pickup, and I have no time to do anything else. The simple fact that I haven't left yet means we're not going to get it all done, even if I have to just knock one job on the head. Fortunately they're all weeklies, so none of them will be out of control. Sometimes with the fortnightlies, you know, like yesterday, the first job, it was so long that if I'd let that go another week, that would have been unbearable. So the problem, so yesterday what I tried to do, garage, and this, if you remember it, pops and makes some noises and then cuts out and stuff like that. So I've only took the guard off just so I can get a bit more access into here and stuff like that. So I took the air filtery stuff off, and looked at the carb. It looks all clean, everything seems to be working reasonably well. As I say, this mower is only 1.5 years old, so it shouldn't be that dirty. There's no dirty fuel or stale fuel in there because it keeps working. So potentially, from what I've heard, having a chat with someone, it could be something wrong with the carb, or the choke, automatic choke, playing up. I don't really know, to be honest. I was going to spray it up with the carb cleaner and stuff like that, but I couldn't find the carb cleaner last night, and it was getting late, and I assumed it was in the container, but now I can't find it in the container. I just can't found it. But the garage is so full at the moment, it's ridiculous. So I'm in 2 minds as to what to do, but as I've always said, it's always good to have a backup machine. Now, if you remember last time I used that, I got that back because that hadn't worked for a long time. Got that back, got it fixed. While that was all happening, the blade engage cable had snapped on this one, so I swapped them over. So if you see on that one, you've got a nice clean cable coming around there, whereas if you look on this one, you've got an old rusty one. That's because that is actually off of that machine. So that one then got the new one put on. And if you remember, I said about the belts being all quite worn. So I got all the replacement belts for this, so they're in the van ready to go. When that goes, I'm happy to it's a quick changeover really, so I'm happy to just leave it as it is, because it's worked for a few months, as it has done. So I've started this one up, it's working fine. I didn't put the guard back on it because I just wanted to test that the old matchstick trick was working, and it worked fine, so I just never got around to putting the guard back on. Anyway, this works, so that's good. This one not working so much, so I might just have to go and buy some more carb cleaner just to eliminate that and give it a good clean up. If it's not that, it might be something to do with the automatic choke. But the air filter's clean. I've even cleaned it out. I even took the air filter off. There's no problems there. Spark plug, I tried it with the spark plug off of the hater, and the hater's got no issues with starting or anything. Not that that's got any issues with starting, but I'm just trying to eliminate issues or problems, and that didn't seem to be the issue either. So yeah, it's either starved of fuel, but there seems to be loads of fuel getting to it, so that's fine. Air doesn't seem to be a problem. So anyway, so that's it. This is now playing up as well, because it's sod's law that this will play up as well. So this was, I think this had needed a new carb and what have you. So we've put a new carb on, as you can see, and now it will start, but then it cuts out pretty quickly and then likes to backfire and all types of things. So so yeah, so that's playing up as well. So it doesn't rain, but it pours, and then I've got to do some work to the drive on that as well. So essentially I've got a lot of mowers and I've got a lot of issues. So I think what I'm going to have to do is just not, I mean, it's raining, I'd love it to just be like torrential rain, and then I could literally just, for my own sake, just go, yeah, today's written off. We're just going to crack on with machinery now, which I think I'm just going to have to do, because I can't have too much down. So so yeah, anyway, that's where we're at. I'm almost thinking I might just take these up to my local dealer and get them to look at it, because I just haven't got the time or the energy to piss about anymore with it, to be honest, and I need this stuff done sooner rather than later. Okay, so just after I finished filming, it absolutely was torrential, and has been torrential for a couple of hours now. So that was great. That's made the decision easy for me. It was borderline whether to call it or not. It wasn't wet enough. However, the rain's cooled and the rain came down, and it made the decision for me, which is great. Now, the problem I have in the garage currently is I have this massive spraying job coming up, and I will talk more about that spraying job as and when I do it. However, in preparation for when the moment is right to just get out and get it done, as in it's dry, I have prepared, ready to go. So this is the situation in the garage at the moment. We have the sprayer, and then we have all our barrels all mixed up. So because it takes time to mix all this up, so I've got it all in there, but the problem is that's taking up quite a lot of room. So I am, for the moment, just going to have to get it out so I can get the mower in, because it is, of course, raining, and I might just have to move a few other things around, and of course there's a lot of stuff I just can't quite get to. Okay, so I've took the carb off completely, and it was interesting that this was actually sticking out. It didn't, I mean, it was in, but it was sort of out as well, if that makes sense. So that might be something to do with it, perhaps, that it's creating a little bit of air going in, perhaps. So I went out to go and buy some O-rings. I've changed the O-ring. There was a smaller set in Screwfix, but they didn't have the one I needed, so I ended up having to buy a big set. But I should never have to buy an O-ring again. It is absolutely monsoon weather outside, so I certainly made the right call to be in here and get this stuff sorted. So it's on. I'm just going to open the doors now and then give it a try. Okay, so I don't think that fixed it. I haven't. I mean, I've tried everything I can do, so I think that's gonna have to go off to the shop. Okay, so it's Friday. Yesterday I just gave up with the Toro. I haven't got time, and so I took it to the local shop, Hart Machinery, sort of near Fleet, Hartley, Wetney, I suppose. And they've been pretty good. That's where I've sent the last couple of stuff if I haven't been able to fix it. And I guess because I've been in there regularly now, sort of the turnover time when you become a regular becomes quicker all of a sudden. So no, they're good guys down there. So they've got that, and they've got the aerator. So hopefully, he said, you know, hopefully 3 days. So maybe I'll have it back Monday, Tuesday. We shall see. However, we have just had absolute torrential rain, thunder and lightning go through. So, and I expect there'll be some more come in. So I think today is more of a write-off than it isn't. Again, I've done drop-off. I've just got back. I've got to do pick-up. So even from this point now, I don't have enough time to do my usual daily route. The options really are, I think what I'm going to do is just have a service of the 56, get some blades sharpened, get them ready, then see if it dries up a little bit. The turfing or the seeding job I did at the football club, I ran out of pegs, so I didn't get all the areas sheeted. So now I've got some more pegs this afternoon. I might pop down there, get those done, and then I might just stick my head in at the 3 jobs I should have done, even if I just spend 45 minutes just blowing some leaves, just a little bit of a tidy up. That'd be something rather than nothing, and also it just gets you a little bit of face time in there, and it looks as though you've been and you've done something. So so yeah, I think that might be the plan. But to begin with, what we'll do is get all this back out and then get this cleaned up. You can see all the grass in it. There'll be loads of grass in there. Get that all out, get it all cleaned up, and I just need to on the chain, I think the chain's come a little bit loose, so I just need to tension that a little bit more, and then that should be good, and we'll get possibly a sharper blade on there. Okay, it's amazing, isn't it, the amount of rubbish that just comes out of, which is just gets caught in the mower. Of course, it's raining now. Yeah, so this is basically what it's been all morning. This is what it is. So we get this washed off, get it cleaned up, get that replaced, get a sharpened one, fresh one on there. That'll be good because I'm not mowing, and I'll use that because obviously I'm clearly not mowing today. So there'll be 2 weeks growth, and it's been raining, isn't it? So it'll be long growth. So we'll get, you know, for the bagging capabilities, we'll get that red Oregon blade on. We'll also get the bag cleaned out. Well, okay, so it's still Friday, 12 o'clock. It's kind of stopped raining now, but then every now and again when you think it's stopped, it absolutely pooms it down, if that's a phrase. So yeah, haven't left the garage yet. I am going to go out in a minute and just sheet over those other gull mouths, but for the moment I'm just sharpening a few blades while I've got the opportunity. So I've done a video on how to sharpen blades. This is kind of why I do this sort of vloggy sort of thing, because over the last 10 years I've done a video on everything, I think, so we're just covering old ground. But for those of you who haven't seen it, I thought I'd just show you what I do. So essentially on a vise, and what I will then do is, the first thing I need to do is, or you need to do, is clear up and get rid of all the dirt. So I will do that using a drill, just because it's easier with one of these like wire brushes on. It just saves having to use a wire brush. And the reason you're cleaning it up is because when you sharpen it, you'll take I use an angle grinder, and depending on how much damage or how sharp they need to be, if it's just a little tickle, this is a bit worn out, but I'll use something like this. Or if it needs a bit more, something severe, then actually a grinding blade is what I'd go for. So essentially what you do is just get ideally get a 30-degree edge, or as close as you can. It's always good to have a new blade. Here's one, and then you can sort of offer up that angle just to see how close you are to it. It's never going to be 100%, especially when you're doing it with just an angle grinder, but the reason why is you do both ends as close as you can. Then what you do is get yourself one of these bad boys. If you haven't got one, just literally stick a nail in the door and hang it on there and see if it is level or not, because what will happen is, let me just grab this one, because what you'll do is, if you've taken more weight off one than the other, so let's just say I've taken more weight off that one, it's just going to hang down like that. Or in the case of this one, it's going to hang down like that. So all that means you need to do is just nick a bit more off the heavier side so that it weighs the same, just so when it's spinning it's not sort of weighted on one end differently to the other. But what you might find is, after you've weighed it, you might have to then stick it back to nick a few bits off. Now of course this has all got dirt in this kind of well bit here, and I've cleaned this bit off already, so obviously that is going to make a massive difference when you're trying to balance it. So that's why you need to clean it off first. If I've got the pressure washer out and I'm using it, I have put it away after cleaning the mower off, but I could just use the pressure washer, but because it's away, I'm using a wire brush, or in this case, a drill. So obviously I need to turn it over, do the same, and that's essentially how I sharpen my blades. Okay, so here we are back at the football ground. I get asked quite a lot about the fleecing and what I use. The fleece, I generally ordered it years ago, I can't remember now. Must have been a 50-metre roll, 50 by 2 meters maybe, and I would have literally just googled it and it would have been whatever it was. The pegs are these off of Amazon. These are 100 4-inch garden pegs, so they're basically like big U-nails, and of course you need a pair of scissors to cut the fleece up. So anyways, here we are. I shall crack on. Okay, so where the rain has been so heavy, what it's done is it's washed everything, basically all the seed, into the low. You can see we've got seed down there and down there. The dark spots are basically where all the seed has been washed into. So what I'm doing is I brought some more seed out because I assumed that the birds would probably have eaten the stuff which hadn't been covered over. So all I'm doing is, with one of these, is just making some channels, moving it around just to reseed. So rather than just chucking seed on top, I just want to get the seed into the sand. This is 70-30, by the way, top dressing. So I just want to get the seed into it and not just chuck it flat on top, because it is so flat where it's been rained on. You can see it's nice and level pretty much. I mean, nothing's level on this pitch. It's all a bit bobbly and stuff like that. But yeah, here's another section. I think this was the penalty spot. You can just see how where the rain's gone around and it's flattened it and washed it out a bit. So all the seed is just in the middle. So I'm just going to move that around. Just create like another seed bed, if you like, and move that seed around, because I'm sure there's still some seed mixed in, because what I did do was put the seed down first, top dress, and then sprinkle seed over the top as well. So there's no way that the seed at the bottom would have come to the top and then been washed in. But every little helps. It's been a serious amount of rain that we've had. I think even just yesterday was 3/4 of a month's worth of rain fell yesterday, plus what came today, and I think today was harder, to be honest. Anyway, right, so I'll carry on with that. You can see the bits I've done in the background just about, and then I've got one large section in that bit in the goal mouth, and then there's I think an animal's been digging, so a little bit over there.